Houston, we have a problem in Florida. 30-year-old Daisy Link is a South Florida woman who in 2022 shot her husband, Pedro Jimenez, in the leg. She claimed it was self-defense. Unfortunately for Pedro, the bullet hit an artery and he bled to death. Actually, the bullet went through his heel, traveled up the leg, and hit the artery, which is, I don't know how exactly that happened, but I'm assuming we're going to find out because the trial is already underway. I want to thank Dairy Free Nomad for this suggestion because you were right, it's a good one. This trial, as I said, is already underway. So Dairy Free Nomad had told me that there is a woman named Daisy Link, who, by the way, I will probably call Daisy Chain because I've already almost done that every time I have to say her name, who claims in self-defense she killed her husband, and there's a lot going on there, and you were not lying, Nomad. I'm now feverishly trying to watch this trial because it's very interesting and entertaining. Now, I think personally that this story is going to be interesting enough as is because there's a lot going on here. But what's making this particular case so newsworthy to the general public is that Ms. Link, whilst incarcerated and awaiting trial, fell pregnant. I know what you're thinking. I was thinking the same. Immaculate conception. No, we were wrong. Although authorities were curious as to how this came about, and after a thorough investigation and discovering that Ms. Link was not having any kind of relationship with any of the male staff in the jail, reliable sources say that a tipster provided authorities with information that an inmate housed in the same facility as Ms. Link is the likely biological father of her baby. The baby was born, a DNA test was done, and they discovered that an inmate on the 6th floor, where the menfolk are, was the biological father. Now, Daisy's on the 4th floor. Juan De Paz is on the 6th floor. He's the baby daddy. How'd this happen, you're asking? That's also what authorities wanted to ask. They asked Juan.
Well, I know her for a little minute, you feel me? So we was talking, back and forth, and
How were you talking to her?
not through the vent.
Through the vent?
Yeah.
Ms. Link and Mr. De Paz were talking through the vents. He was on the 6th floor, she was on the 4th, as I stated, and they would speak through the vents, and they would also pass little love notes back and forth. Very mushy, lovey-dovey notes. They would do this with using a kind of a cable system that they rigged up using bed linens. People are spending their time and energy on doing only the wrong things. Read a book. Mr. De Paz started to send her a little care package with these letters, with these notes, several times a day for a month or two, or I don't know exactly how long. He would wrap his semen up in saran wrap and send it to her. And she would then inject it with a yeast infection medication applicator. Are you nauseous? So am I. She got pregnant, obviously. Here's a conversation about it, her breaking the good news to Mr. De Paz. And there's going to be something in this conversation that is going to sound familiar to you. Something we've discussed quite a bit, as a matter of fact, on this channel. Have a listen.
Are you pregnant? I don't know. I still haven't had my period.
You think that work?
I don't know. If probably could, I'm telling you, I was supposed to have my period. I don't know.
Damn, babe, have you been on it for real?
I swear to God on my kids, I do it every time. Every time.
Now, I don't think she's necessarily lying here, so there's that. But we've talked about this, how this is a big no, a big red flag, not good, bad person. Bad person. Moving along, Ms. Link called her mother to tell her the blessed news. Now, there are things that I am not sure my mother's going to take well, things I'd rather not maybe mention to her. Not, I'm incarcerated while waiting for my murder trial and I got knocked up. Now, that kind of thing, because I don't have to wonder what my mother how she would react to all that. Just some rando inseminating me through the vent. Let's hear what Daisy Link's mom had to say.
There's 24-hour lockdown because I'm pregnant.
You're full of shit.
I swear to God.
You're full of shit. This is shocking.
What do you mean? I'm going to sue. I'm going to get out. You know how much I could sue them for? This is all planned. I can get out now. If they would have let me out of the Arthur hearing, I wouldn't have got pregnant.
You know what? You're stupid. Don't talk on this phone.
Yeah. Juan De Paz's mother now has the baby. I hope that Abuela De Paz was not looking forward to an early retirement because she is going to be very busy for the next 18 years. Well done, everyone. Fantastic. This photo of the baby made me feel better about the care that the baby is getting and Abuela De Paz's retirement. Now, I've said this many times before, and I stand by it. There is nobody like Sarah Boone. We can make all the comparisons we want. I'm sure people are comparing this one to Sarah Boone. Dairy Free Nomad did say this is similar to Sarah Boone, and I understand why, of course. Daisy Link, who I do not like at all, is not a likable character at all. She's no Sarah Boone. She just isn't. And one of the things that struck me as very different about this case is the victim. Now, Mr. Jimenez did not deserve to be shot dead in the street by his wife, obviously, or by anyone. I mean, that's obvious. However, Mr. Jimenez now, and he cannot speak for himself, all I have to go by at this point right now, because I just started watching this trial, the first witness that they put on the stand is a friend of Mr. Jimenez named Kevin, who was with him the night of the crime, his last night on this mortal coil, as Kathy from Gossip Rumor and Innuendo would say. And let's just hear Kevin speak, and let's hear how he represents himself on the stand in a courtroom.
Smith, is the phone off now?
It's inside.
All right, thank you. We're gonna put it away because we want to pay attention to what's going on here. Can you push the mic closer to you? What were you and Pedro doing at your house?
Just chilling.
And who was there?
Just him and his girl.
Sorry, I'm gonna ask you to speak up a little bit.
Him and his girl,
Who is his girl?
Daisy.
Okay, how long had you known Daisy for?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
So when you and your friends went to pick up Pedro, he was at the house with Daisy,
Yeah.
okay? And what happened when you guys got to the house?
No, we just chill.
Medical examiners confirmed that a toxicology report showed that the victim, Pedro Jimenez, was chock full of cocaine. Correction, reports state that Mr. Jimenez had a recreational amount of cocaine in his system. Now, these two people got married and had two children, and things were probably, I mean, certainly better than they are now, considering what went on there. But things have obviously either stayed bad or gotten bad over some years. Miss Link claims to have shot him in self-defense. The defense and the state attorneys, in their opening statement, they told similar stories with very different twists to them.
While the two of them were outside, the evidence is going to show you. In fact, Miss Link tells police officers that when she saw Mr. Jimenez out there, he had a look of betrayal. So she told him and confirmed that she had cheated on him. Now, Mr. Jimenez, rightfully upset, he doesn't pull out any weapons, he doesn't hit the defendant, but instead, he threatens her by telling her, "You're going to sleep outside tonight." He's going to lock the doors. And you're going to hear in evidence that this wasn't the first time that that had occurred, and that she didn't like having to stay outside. So, in a fit of rage, she pulled out the gun, pointed it at the victim, and the facts will show that when the defendant pointed the gun at Mr. Jimenez, he had turned around and was running away in fear of Miss Link.
The state claimed that the two were kind of on again, off again at this point. They were still seeing each other. The evidence will show that Mr. Jimenez was running away from her when she shot him. The defense claims that Daisy had changed the locks in her home, that this was her home, and she was allowing him to be there, but he had no right to be there.
5 days before Mr. Jimenez's death, he showed up unannounced to Daisy Link's home. And to be clear, the evidence will show it was her home. He didn't live there anymore. He was removed from the lease. The locks were changed. He was not allowed in there unless he was specifically invited. And yes, he would be invited because they had kids together, and Miss Link was gracious enough to let him see those kids, even though he didn't have a right to be with them because he lost his parental rights to those kids. Now, he showed up unannounced 5 days before, and Miss Link had some guests in her home. She was in her home with her two kids, and she had her cousin with her cousin whose name is David, and he had his kids with him too. Mr. Jimenez showed up unannounced, and immediately he accused Miss Link of cheating on him, even though they weren't together anymore, cheating on him with this man who he saw in her house. Mr. Jimenez was informed, "Hey, I'm not cheating. That's my cousin, and I'm not sleeping with my cousin. He's just here because he's family." Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Mr. Jimenez did not accept that explanation. And he physically attacked the cousin, David, and he physically attacked Miss Link. Now, when I say physically attacked, I'm not talking about a love attack. I mean, he grabbed her, he took a firearm, and he pistol whipped her with this firearm. He essentially split her head wide open. He left multiple lacerations on her head, and that caused spilling of a lot of blood. This blood's already dry, but you can imagine how much blood that was. He caused her to lose consciousness. I'm not just saying this. He very easily could have killed her. And he did it in front of his two kids. And he didn't stop until his 7-year-old son said, Bobby, Bobby, please stop. Bobby, please stop. So at that point, as toxic as this relationship was, as I mentioned, it took a drastic turn for the worse. And that event, which happened 5 days prior to Mr. Jimenez's death, created a chain of events. And what is that chain of events? This is it. It's over. Daisy Link made a decision. Her family made a decision. Her family came from Texas, came down here for 2 reasons. One, to be with her, to take care of her after she had this unfortunate attack happen to her, and to prepare for her and the kids to leave the state. And that is what was going to happen. That's exactly what was going to happen. Now, did Miss Link do everything perfectly? No. With the benefit of hindsight, could things have been handled differently? Yes. Should Miss Link have decided to not have any contact with Mr. Jimenez from that point on? Yeah, she probably should have. And she did. She did have contact with him. And yes, you will see that on the day that Mr. Jimenez lost his life, she did pick him up and bring him. She brought him to see the kids because, as you will hear, she was going to leave and she wasn't coming back. And no, Mr. Jimenez did not live there. That was not his home at that point anymore.
Now, years ago, when I was just innocent, skipping to work every day without a care in the world, before I met Sarah, Catherine, Paulson Boone, I would have thought that that means that she changed the locks and this was her home. But as we now know, we can't trust anything these people say. And who knows? Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. We don't know that either. I'm hoping for some clarity about that. I think there's going to be a lot more clear evidence about the history between these two, not just home movies from Ms. Link's phone, you know? I have a feeling that this is a case where the abuse was mutual. I don't know if it was physical or not. Daisy Link, according to the defense, was terrified of her husband, Pedro. We're going to find out. This case is pretty interesting, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the trial. Ms. Link, as I said, is quite unlikable. Just on sight, really. She just has an expression that you know, I mean, I wouldn't let her babysit anyone's children. They do have footage of her kind of leaving the scene and then coming back. I have to go over that and get more information about it. I have to rewatch and start and watch. I have to rewatch some of what I've watched and watch more. And then I'm going to come back and report to you.
A few moments later.
I thought you hit a major artery. You'll be fine. So you want to go to the hospital? No? Okay.
I find this very interesting. If you don't, that's fine. I'll be disappointed. I will cry myself to sleep, every night until this is over. But you have to do what you think is best for yourself. Thank you for watching. I will see you very, very soon.